Ashes to ashes.
All right, hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of Till Death Do Us Part, the podcast, where we explore everything related to death, funerals, and stories that connect us all. I'm your host, Mike Hamlar from Virginia, the athlete who go around the room today. We are live at the IP Casino and Hotel in Biloxi, Mississippi. Quick letter, we are here in Mississippi. Hey, what's up, y'all? We made it. We out the group chat for it. We have the chat. All right, that's up. All right, so again, I can from Virginia. We'll go around real quick. We got a hot topic for you today. When the side shit doesn't matter. Ooh, we gonna get it. All right, Princess, you go ahead and start it off then.
I'm the princess, Tiffanie. Thank you guys for tuning in week 4.
Oh, she's saving hers for the side chick. There we go. All right, Wendal, from the VA.
What's up, everybody? We're at the fourth episode. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share. People in so you can hear us tonight. We will share together on an important topic. A little crazy topic, but it's an important topic. Is the side piece really that important? Let's talk about it.
All right, so we get started. We are getting a little bit of reverb. Somebody just commented that we get a little reverb.
All right.
Don't fix it. Hey, Keisha.
All right, keep going.
All right, everyone. We made it out the chat. This is the baby. This is Warren. I'm so grateful to be on with you here. We are live here in Biloxi, Mississippi. And I tell you, we got a topic for you today. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to knock your socks off. So thank you for joining us. Share, like, and subscribe so that we can get these numbers up. I got bills to pay. They got me. They need to shoot.
All right, who's next?
What up? Listen, y'all, we are super excited. It's your man, Adrian Turner, Dallas, Texas. We are here, y'all, in Mississippi. Listen, today is the day. Tonight is the night where you do not want to miss this episode. This is episode 4 to Death Do Us Part podcast. We are making this thing work, and we are definitely being blessed while we're working it. Tonight is the topic. Y'all have heard it, and I will repeat it. Does the side shit matter? Let's go.
We there. Everybody been through? Who we missing?
Mother,
Charmaine, the mother. Oh, here she go.
Hey,
what's up, Charmaine in the house?
Hello.
The mother.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, y'all. I'm gonna make it quick, but hey, everybody.
Girl, we waiting on you.
I got stuck with a Bible open. Wendal understands. I'm at an Eastern Star event. I got stuck with the Bible open. Wendal understands.
Oh, Lord. All right, let's see. We got a couple people commenting. Make sure you comment. Make sure you share. Here's Keisha Brown. What's up, Keisha Brown? We're going to work on that reverb. We're all together. Okay? We're trying to get it fixed. And who else we got here? Vanessa W. Hey, what's up, Vanessa W?
What up, baby?
And then we got the morning drive with the Undertaker, my frat brother from Texas. John Bedford Jr. from Golden Gate. What's up, brother John? Appreciate you tuning in.
Well, listen, I want to start the conversation.
All right, let's get right into it. Let's go.
Listen, so there seems to be a select group of people that do not know that they are indeed the side chick. You may be the side chick, and these 2 dates are your dates. If he don't call you till February the 15th, baby,
You're the side
you the
chick.
side chick. If he don't give you your gift until December the 26th, baby,
You the side chick.
He probably got paid late.
If you got to call twice and hang up, you side chick.
What's up out there, Jesus?
Oh, wow.
Vows of the husband.
And ma'am, if he
4 star.
tells you that his sister and her kids is staying at his house because they having a hard time, you side chick.
Warren just had to get that first part in. All right, so the topic today is: does the side chick matter? When does the side chick matter, or does she? So we're gonna have a little fun with it, but we're also gonna give you some information and be a little serious because it really does matter at some point, especially when you're trying to bury your loved one, because you could be married for a long time. We're gonna do that one first. Let's talk about that first. You know, somebody's married, they're separated. In Virginia, there's no common law. I don't know about in your states if you have common law or not. So you got somebody together, they've been together, but they've been separated for 30 years. They're still legally married, right? They have a girlfriend or a boyfriend that they've had for the last 20 years. When the person dies, they think they can come in and make arrangements, and they think everything is in their court. What happens?
You're right, Mike. Let's talk about it. Really, in Virginia, Commonwealth state, like you just said, when the institution where the person passes away, they contact the next of kin. Whether that person is separated from them, they still are married, they are the next of kin. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you still the next of kin. You still the next of kin. So the nursing home, the hospital will contact the person. Even if they're separated, they're supposed to contact the spouse of that person because they are the legal next of kin in the state of Virginia. Tiffanie is in Pennsylvania. Share with us a little bit, Tiffanie, about what they look like in Pennsylvania.
Hey, Mr. Wanda.
It's
My
the
VA
same thing
peeps.
in PA. PA does not recognize common law. So if you are the legal wife, separated or not, you are the next of kin. There are many situations where the husband or wife don't live with their spouse, but that spouse is still the main person, although the other one thinks that she is.
Ooh, so let's talk about that. It's very dangerous. I know we've all probably had some situations where the family came in there. Like, I'm gonna share one of mine. Been years ago. We're not using names today, so these may or may not be true, right? But I had a family come in one time years ago. They were trying to. Man was married, but legally separated.
Where's your disclaimer?
Where's your
Oh, wait a
disclaimer?
minute. Yep, we got to put disclaimers up. Let's do that. Thank you, Warren.
While we get a disclaimer real quick, so in Texas, common law is recognized.
Oh, I was doing it the whole time.
Yeah,
It works.
we heard it very well. Common law in Texas, common law is recognized very well. However, one of your biggest things you need to do and put it on your mind: get a right of disposition. Get your writ of disposition. If you know that you got a common law situation, inside sick situation, however, you need to get a writ of disposition. So therefore, when you go away, they can pull out that piece of paper. You ain't got no problems to know that you need Beijing, regime, however, to be the one to handle your situation.
Uh-oh.
But before you even do that, there's some folks need to know the breakdown of side chicks. As we heard from a fellow funeral director,
There is what we call the public side chick
and the
and the
private
private side chick.
So what you're saying, Tiff, is you gotta know your stat. You gotta know your stat. You gotta know your place.
No,
Public or you private. Know your place. Public, private.
Oh no, we're on mute. Hey, listen. While we disclosure here: the views of this podcast are those of the individual, not any representative firms. These are just our views personally. So there's a disclaimer that's been going for a little bit, but now we should be clear. All right. So that's our disclaimer disclosure. That make sure you subscribe. Go to our website, tilldeathdous.com. But we want to get back to this. Tell them the story. Hey, we had a family come in, and the person was married, been separated, divorced for 30, 40 years for different reasons, like we talked about. So they could be separated, divorced, and they still get these benefits from retirement, and they won't get married again, which I understand. But they came in, and know who the beneficiaries on your policy. The people made arrangements. They had their children around the table. And the next thing you know, the person they thought was the beneficiary was not. And then the person that had the beneficiary, guess what they did? As soon as they found out, they got their stuff and walked right out the door and said, "Good luck burying your mama." So you really need to take a lot of consideration who you make your beneficiary and what we're doing. So when the side chick doesn't matter, or does she?
So if the side chick got the policy,
If the side chick is the beneficiary, that means that better be monies.
Better damn sure be nice. That's where the money at.
I don't care how mad you are in that situation. If the side chick is willing to put it away and nice, I need you to humble yourself. Because obviously, he thought a little bit more of her than he did of you.
So
Let's
let me
remember,
let me
it's
say
not
this.
always her.
It could be him.
It's the other way around too.
Can y'all hear me? Let me say this.
Yes.
Here
It
in the
could
state
be
of
him.
Maryland, a funeral home
Hey,
got
Barry
tied up.
Robinson, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure y'all send your comments and your questions. So
Can you
expand
hear
on
me?
that, Tiffany. What do you think?
Charmaine talking.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear.
Yes.
Oh, so in the state of Maryland, a funeral home recently got tied up. They had 2 wives to come in. Now, I don't know which one had the paperwork of being the real wife, but 2 wives came in, not to my place, but to a firm here. One came in and wanted direct cremation. The other one that he was technically legally married to came in, found out that the man died, and came in and she wanted a service. So the funeral home turned around and acknowledged the person that wanted to have the service because she was the only one that could produce the marriage license. Now, here's my deal with a marriage license. I'm still holding on to my marriage license and been divorced for almost 10 years. Anybody can walk in the door with a marriage license. That's not saying nothing. However, the state of Maryland is not on one accord with a lot of people's paperwork, documentations, not even the different counties' documentations. You can look in Maryland case search and see if somebody's married and or divorced. But if they went to a whole nother state and got married, then where they got, in Baltimore City, that doesn't matter. If they got married in one of the counties, you can't see that they got married in that county for a while. So it takes a while for the paperwork to come forth. So what happened at this place, the the side piece, the actual side piece said, hey, let me just go ahead and pay y'all for the service that I want to have and let that first person pay for it because she got it. And then it got out that the funeral home decided to do a service for the same man for 2 different women. The media made it sound worse than what it was. Both of them asked for their piece because only one could prove that they were technically married to the guy. So the side piece said, well, forget all this. Let me just have a memorial service. She didn't pay for the cremation. She paid for the use of the facility for the memorial service. So other family members instigated the fact that the funeral home took the money from both women. So you have to be careful. And some people say, well, why not take the marriage license? It doesn't matter. I still have mine. My son want to keep them and frame them. I want to burn them. So I can walk up at any time to my ex-husband and say, act like a fool if you want because I have the marriage license. And some people know we're divorced. Some people don't know we're divorced. You understand what I'm saying? So that sometimes in some states, that piece of paper don't matter if somebody still have it in their hand.
That's real.
This brings us the story of Frankie Lyman when Why Did Fools Fall in Love? And when he died of an overdose and you had 3 different wives to show up for his estate, it's all about the paperwork that you have. It's all about the story and what you can prove. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, you need to hold on to these documents because if you don't, you can't prove anything. It is what it is. But the other thing is, cremation is one of those things that is irreversible. So even if you are the side chick and you may be the one calling all the shots, his next of kin has to be in agreement with you in order for that to happen. You don't have no rights as a side chick. That's all I got to say.
In the state of Maryland, it's safer to ask the children than it is to ask any of the spouse, the side chick or the spouse. The children can come in, and the spouse has the right to sign off. The side chick has no rights at all. So then you go to the children. So even if the two side pieces can't get along and you sitting there with the man in your refrigerator until they figure it out, the children can vote in on how they want things.
Yeah, that's a good point. In Virginia,
Maryland has established lineage laws when it comes to that, but there's a gray area too when it comes to the lineage laws.
yeah, that's a great point. So in Virginia, the spouse, hands down, is the top. Every state's going to be different, but as Warren said, cremation is final. So please make sure you get that together. There is a document that you can use. We'll send it to you if you send us your information. It's called a designee form. That is definitely legal in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We'll check your state, but you email us and you need a designee form. It doesn't matter which funeral home you use. We'll make sure we send it to you. All right. So Ms. Kelsey, Adriana Kelsey, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. And who we got there? Byron Hamlar Brothers out there in the Commonwealth of Virginia, holding it down. Like and share. Make sure you do that.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. I guess what we're really trying to say tonight, whatever your status is, make sure that you're prepared. When you know you got a situation, when you know that there are several people involved that may not have any ties that are relatives, you need to have everything in order. Be responsible. I don't care how, from 17 to 70. If you know you have a situation where there may be, you're still legally married and you have another person in the picture who want to make sound decisions on your behalf, you need to make sure the paperwork is in place that says, this is what I want, this is my preference, this is who I want to make my decisions. It could be the children. They were your children for 40 years and your side piece may have been your side piece for 10. So it gets involved, but it all boils down to making sound decisions. No one can pick your lifestyle. No one can say what you should do, but we got to make sound decisions that are good for us, that are going to happen in the end. What's going to happen to me? Who's going to make that final decision? Would it be my wife that I have been with in 25 years, or would it be my lover that I've been with for how many years I've been married? Sensitive situation, but it happens.
I'm just gonna tell her to give me all your cowboy boots.
But you know what? In all honesty, if you're divorcing, divorce.
Only Asia.
If you're divorcing, divorce. You have to walk away. You have to get them papers finalized, because nothing like that piece of paper. I've been to a funeral where I accompanied a side chick, and we turn around looking and come to find out it was 4 other chicks sitting on the left side of the church at this dude's funeral. It was a lovely sight. I wasn't messy.
And
I was just
nobody
looking
knew
around
about
like,
each
oh
other.
my God. Nope, absolutely not. But you knew who cried the hardest. You knew who had on his jewelry because they started talking. So do we have that video? Side pieces get there and start talking.
Oh, here we go. Go to video.
Yes, with the video.
And here we go.
We are going to. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to share a video from Grey's Anatomy. All right, so this is just a video for you all to look at. We're going to bring it on stage. Let y'all look at this real quick. Tell us what you think.
Surgery? Oh, God.
Well, his heart rhythm had become very erratic, probably due to the electrical shock, so I had to implant a pacemaker.
Oh, no, poor Griffin.
The other concern is Griffin suffered a brain bleed, which I operated on.
A brain bleed?
Your husband will be awake soon and we'll know more then.
Oh, well, Griffin's not my husband.
Hello.
So it's
Nina.
muted while we do videos. So this
How's
is the
my
video
husband?
you're talking about?
I understand he's been in a terrible accident.
I'm sorry, we thought you were the...
I am the wife. She's the slut he's been hitting on the side.
It's been 11 years, Gail.
How is Griffin? Is he dead?
His accident was severe. He needed surgery on his heart and his brain.
So he's almost dead.
Who's going to take this?
Take you to see him at the...
I don't want to see him until he is dead.
Adrian.
So, all right. So you guys just saw the clip, of course,
that was off
the
the
episode of
Grey's Anatomy, where, of course, the side chick came to the hospital, was at the hospital, Doctors, hey, they thinking she the
She
wife. They
white.
thinking
They think
she's
she's
it.
it.
And then
And
boom,
boom,
the
the
official
official
wife
wife
comes
comes
in
in
and
and
says,
says,
hey,
I'm
I'm not
not
worried.
worried. I
I
don't
don't
care.
care. Is he dead? I don't want to do nothing. I'm not paying no insurance. I'm not paying no doctor's bills, any of that. Case in point, as my big sister said, as mother said, you have to get your paperwork in order. You have to sign those papers. Get a divorce. Get a divorce, make it official, make sure it's complete. And if not, in the state of Texas, that form that we use is called a right of disposition. Again, a right of disposition. Again, make sure that if you don't have a necessary will in place, get that right of disposition to where you're going to say that Kansas, Karen, Keisha, Mike, Greg, Marvin, whoever is the person that you want to make the decisions on your final disposition.
If
If
not, you're
not,
gonna
you're
be
going to be
some.
somewhere up under a tree with Warren.
Because I'm gonna be a tree.
Don't y'all start that tree stuff today.
I'm gonna be a tree playing by the water.
I mean, Adrian does have 18 kids. He need to put their names in a hat and have a lottery.
Did y'all hear that?
Make sure your mama on all your paperwork.
So
First and foremost, my mama is on all my paperwork,
Bless you.
and
Bless
I
your
only got
kids.
and I only got 7.
Damn.
Don't be putting all them extra kids on me.
so let me just say this because
Hey,
I'm a
hey, Charmaine, that's 7 that he know
let me
of.
so I'm an avid Grey's Anatomy person. So in that clip, she comes out of nowhere. Now, mind you, the man has been with this woman for 11 whole years. They've been together for 11 whole years. If you go further in that episode, which came out 9 years ago, the woman, the wife, was holding on because the husband was worth $30 million. And he had made her sign a prenup that said that they would not divorce, but she could get the money at death. So she don't care nothing about him. It's just a listen, is he dead? All right. Well, y'all call me when he's dead. All right.
Pull the plug.
Hey,
Worth more money dead than alive.
I would unplug your ventilator to charge my phone.
Man, he was like Teddy P, turn out the lights. He said, turn off the ventilator.
I thought she was a minister.
But listen, let's talk about the liability of this all. Because I'm pretty sure all of us can tell you a scenario where there has been some type of argument or fight at the funeral home. Listen, if the side chick and the wife get to fighting during the funeral or the arrangement conference, don't y'all come trying to sue the funeral home. We gonna step over it, go to our office, and call the popo. Call the popo. Listen, we don't want. We are not liable.
You said
Hey,
call the popo.
look, Dickinson from South Carolina said, please do avoid an attorney. That's our boy Dickinson from down there in South Carolina.
Shout out to Dickinson.
So
Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. We are live here in Biloxi. So as we work this out, this is our first live show. We are literally working out reverb and connection issues as we're all sitting here around the conference room table. Thank you all for tuning in. Please subscribe and share as you go on. It's amazing the support that you've given us. So let's go on with the conversation.
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah, please like, share, and thank you so much. And bear with us with the technical difficulties we may or may not have during the show and episode. The hotel has Wi-Fi, but we know how that goes. It's not all that great.
You know what? We're real deep in this thing, and we're only 24 minutes in. Like we're real deep in this topic. So like y'all come on in the comments. Those that are viewing, those that are watching, y'all come on in the comment sections if you have some questions. As you see, we're out here live. Our sister is away, but she's still with us. We also got attorneys that are on here live. So if you need some information, you need to know what forms that you may need to have, what forms you may need to get done. Listen, we can give you that advice right now. So again, y'all interact with us, tune in, like it, please share it. Also, go to our YouTube page, please. It is Till Death Do Us, the number 6. Till Death Do Us, the number 6. Go to our YouTube page. You can do it right now. You can do it when it's over. Please subscribe and share.
All right, thanks, Adrian. Yeah, so we're knee deep in it. We're getting into this thing. We're just getting started. So we touched on a really important topic of cremation. Cremation rates are rising every day in all ethnic communities, and this is one of the most common things that come up. Who has the authority to sign the paperwork, right? So make sure you get that in order. And we all have stories that we can share. So if anybody want to share anything, Princess, you might be quiet over there.
It's because she's a side piece. What's up, Linda?
Oh my God, y'all are so stupid.
Beautiful.
That's the
I'm the only single one of the group. I'm the free one. I can do
Is that
whatever
the
I want to do
convention
in this
wife? Is
lifetime.
that the convention wife? Some of them have convention wives.
Y'all taking this up to a whole other level. We're gonna go back to cremation. We're gonna go back to cremation.
Put the disclaimer across the bottom again.
Yeah, we're gonna put that up. Hold on.
Oh, mother done went there. Mother
No,
done
but
went.
what for real. So what I will say is folks need to understand that us as funeral directors are subjected to so much discord, chaos, and confusion on a daily basis. So when this is a situation that happens, you don't know who to believe. And having those papers sometimes, like mother said, sometimes having a marriage license is not proof enough. Luckily, again, for us here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we can see the same things. We can see if somebody really is married or if they're not married. We can't see divorce decrees, but we can see if people are married. So that does help, but it still doesn't matter. So folks, just really going back to week 1, get your in order. And if you are going to be a person who has your spouse that you ain't with, and you're gonna have she your side joint, period. She the side joint. Don't matter how long you've been with her, she's still the side joint. If you're gonna be with her, fine. But if you're the main one, if you want the side one to have something, if you want the main one to have something, put it in writing. Get it together. Just get it together. And make sure
Good information from a true light skin.
Tiffanie, we're not gonna skip over the side dudes. We're not.
Oh, there's plenty of side dudes out there too, right? We're not just talking about
over
the chicks.
Side dudes.
Yeah, the guys are out there too. So women, y'all need to get your stuff together. If you're gonna have some little side dude, make sure that you get all your stuff right, so that when the time comes, we ain't gonna have no problems in that arrangement conference room.
Side dudes exist.
She brought up a good point. When we get in the arrangement room, when the funeral director comes in the arrangement room, and we don't know the situation. No, I'm saying we're there and we don't know the situation. So as professionals, we need to be cognizant of the situation to know who we're dealing with. Are we sitting there with a legal wife? Are we sitting there with a person who has been going with the person, has been living with them, but maybe the beneficiary to the policy? Do we need to make a phone call to the next of kin? So we have due diligence as professionals to find out who we're dealing with. But what happens when the family doesn't share all the information? What happens when they don't tell you that there are extenuating circumstances and you're in the middle of it? What does the funeral director do? Let's talk about that.
I got a situation right now, literally.
Wendal hit a good one.
Right before I got on the plane to come here, I had a death call, and they said, "Adrian, my dad just died. His wife is on drugs. We don't know where she's at. She found out he was sick and chose that she didn't want to handle helping him take care of him, and she took off. All we know is she's on drugs, and his oldest daughter don't want to deal with it. So what do we do?"
Direct burial.
You just gonna just bury the man?
We going straight to the cemetery. We're not cremating them. Y'all gonna come up with the money for direct burial. That's what we did.
She does a lot of janazas.
I mean, obviously.
That's what they do up here in Philly. A lot of gymnastics.
I mean, please. But to my panel, what do you do?
All right, who wants to take that? So what do you do? What do you do?
Well, one thing you can't cremate, and you had a situation where the legal next to kin, the wife, she's
I can't
living.
hear Wendell.
Her circumstances, his mental capacity, we can't control that. But she, I'm not mute. I'm not mute. I can hear. Okay.
Charmaine couldn't.
Oh, Adrian, what he has to do as the funeral, as the person that's going to be working with the services, he's going to have to do diligence and say, we need to find this person, this next of kin, no matter what her mental capacity may be, if they're going to cremate. But Tiffanie brought up a good thing. What can we do? Direct burial. State of Pennsylvania, can you do that? Can you just bury somebody and you're not the next of kin? You just want to bury them? What happens, Tiffany?
I had that situation happen. The actual side piece was the one that was taking care of the man for years. And we did not know where the wife was. We didn't know if the wife was alive, dead. We didn't know. And we did know that she had the money. She had everything to take care of him. She had the policy. Everything was good. But I, in my good right conscience, could not cremate that man, even though she even had paperwork as his power of attorney. Now, we know power of attorney ceases at death, but she still had a lot of legal stuff in place to be his caretaker and to take care of him. Now, he also had children, at which we couldn't find any of the children either. So I said, we can't, as much as I know you want to cremate him, those were his wishes. We could not. I could not. So we buried him. They had a little service at the funeral home, and we had the burial out at one of our local cemeteries. 2 years later, I get a phone call from a guy who says, hey, I was looking through online for something and found that my dad died. And we understand that you guys handled the funeral. So, of course, yeah, who was your dad? As soon as she told me his name, I remembered immediately. And it was like a wave of relief that just came over me because we didn't cremate that man. So I asked him, I said, well, where's your mother? And he did say that she had passed, that the wife had in fact passed. So we were kind of saved on that end. But the fact that there were still the children, that knowing that we didn't cremate him, we told him what cemetery he was at, and they were able to go pay their final respects. But, it could have gone a whole lot differently if even just banking on trusting her as the she wasn't a mistress at that point. Well, we didn't know that because we know that the wife was gone. But still, we could have honored everything she had because she did have all the paperwork. But then it would have made for a mess when they came back, because now they're like, how could you cremate my dad? Yeah. And then that's a whole nother legal stuff. And I'm just glad we didn't do it.
Yeah. So that was a good decision. So they can easily go visit the grave. As you know, cremation is irreversible. So that was a good, yeah.
Yep. So we got a question. So Wendal, that's good. So speaking of cremation, what is the correct term for the remains? Ashes or cremains?
Interchangeable.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. From which no traveler has ever returned. What's the correct word?
The correct term is cremains or cremated remains.
Textbook terminology. Cremated remains. Who got there?
The lake.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
That was a good question. Thank you.
Because let's be real. If mama and them come up to the funeral home, they gonna ask, who got the ashes? I want to bury my son in the graveyard and put a headstone there. Who took his ashes? She ain't take care of him while he was living. She ain't gonna take care of him while he dead. Who got the ashes? But cremains is the proper term. I just thought of another one, by the way. Any man that's out here referring to his wife as his old lady, he got a side piece somewhere. Now, since I don't know where he may be. I don't know where she is. He might be down the block or what. But he got a side piece. If he got an old lady, he got a young lady. I'm trying to hip you the game.
Barbara, this is Shirley. I don't know.
Nah.
I don't know how you want to react to this.
You gonna come out of bag.
But I want to make let's step off of funerals for a second, right? This kind of goes back to our first show and making sure that you have your stuff planned out and you have paperwork and that everything is how it should be. There's a lot of situations where a person may have been married or separated or estranged, um, and now you do have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or what have you, or this might be your second or third or fourth wedding or marriage. It's important to stay on top of that stuff. It's important to stay on top of where your documents are. And um, what I said was a joke in regards to the deed, but it's very serious. A lot of these mortgages now are built into survivorship or they're reverse mortgages. So if you've dated somebody for 30 or 40 years, like we do see, and a person dies, and they don't know that their house is in a reverse mortgage, or they don't know if the house is in survivorship. And I know in the state of Virginia, it's a 1/3 split. So the
Amongst
child
who? One
amongst
third
the
split amongst who?
amongst the children and the current spouse or the current person who is listed on that deed, if it's in
Okay.
any type of survivorship, because the child will get 1/3 and the other person who is surviving in any shape or form will get 2/3. So we need to people need to make sure that all that stuff is written down and you tell somebody what's going on. We had a situation where there was a gentleman who he lived very modestly, but he had several retirements. He had bank accounts with at least 2 to 3 million in them. He had been divorced several times, but each one of those accounts had his first wife's name on them because he had not gone back and adjusted any of them. He left his kids nothing. Now,
Wow.
morally and ethically, you would think, hey, you ain't really been with my dad for the last 25, 30 years. Come on now, you can at least give us something. Break me off a 10, a grand, something. She was like, I really have to think about this. This
Can
is
I open
caught me
another
off guard.
door?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Let me open another door to all my
All right,
friends
good.
that are in same sex marriage, same sex relationships. Please make that a marriage. There's a there's a lot of states that acknowledge same sex marriage, because if not, your parents that probably don't care about your situation will be the next of kin for you. Some of y'all don't get along with your parents because you in your particular situations. So please go to another state and get married and have that marriage license that acknowledges the same-sex marriages. It doesn't matter the state that you live in when it comes to marriage. It matters in the state that you get married in. So seal that deal in that community as well. Because other than that, your mom or your dad may want to cremate you because of the lifestyle that you lived. So please seal that deal. Don't leave that dangling. I mean, don't leave that those walls open. Yeah. Just
There's a flag on the plane. Flag, what a flag. We're gonna get us a yellow flag. I'm telling you, there's a flag on the plane.
Dude,
I'm just saying yeah, it's fine. I'm just saying, y'all know I love everybody. You can park right there. I love everybody. Y'all know I do. And I wouldn't want to see none of my friends tied up and they business get all over the place being messy. Tied up.
But this is the
Because now that
conversation that
it
we
matters,
had.
you matter too.
This is the conversation that we had back when the man in the White House was elected, about making sure that the executive orders or what have you did not take away any rights that people may have. And that goes beyond LGBTQIA, that, for women, for Black folks, for immigrants, those with special needs, that may choose to be married. Because that's one thing that we don't talk about a lot in funeral service is somebody who may be autistic or has special needs and they choose to get married, and but they may be married but under the conservatorship of somebody else. This can go so deep. You know, you just got to get your stuff in order. That's it.
Okay, Keisha Brown said, and they do not recognize civil ceremonies. Keisha, can you elaborate on what you're saying? And who is they?
I know some states. Okay, so in the state of Maryland, DC, I want to say DC kind of started first with the same sex marriages. A lot of our folk were going to DC to get married. So okay. So in the meantime, if you go to the different areas and get married, that's fine. You have that documentation because you can move all over the country and you still have a spouse regardless of where you are. If that's what she's speaking of, the civil marriages. Now I know of someone in the state of Texas. I don't I don't know if it's common law or some kind of signing of a companionship or something. I'm gonna have to get the proper terms as to what this young lady did. But her and a guy went. She claimed that they wasn't technically married, but they signed some type of agreement because they were business partners. And to make him liable, exactly, flag on the play, make them liable and responsible for, the decisions that are being made for them. But it's not
Okay,
common law because they went to the courts and signed paperwork, but it wasn't an actual marriage either. You familiar with
okay.
that, Adrian?
Yeah.
No,
So she
I'm
was
not.
she was referring to the government, and then her next comment is some states have civil ceremonies instead of a marriage.
Yeah.
So that's a state by state basis and also legal issues. So consult with an attorney, but make sure, like we said before, you got to get your in order so we can go on and move forward.
I might
Go
get
ahead,
one.
Hamlar. I mean, Wendal.
We painted such a bad picture of the side piece, whether it be a man or a woman. But how many of you know, as we say in church, there are some side pieces who are willing to pay for funerals, who are willing to step up and
Only
say,
if my
I
name was the
know he or she
beneficiary.
is married. I'm going to take care of the services, and you deal with the family. Now, there
Only
are
if
some
I'm the
people
Benny and
who
I'm
know
dropping
their
10
place
grand.
and may have been left bank accounts or beneficiaries of policies and have agreed to do what needs to be done. So, us as funeral professionals, how do you handle? And you have writing a contract with the side piece, and you're
First of
arranging
all,
a service at a
you have to
Baptist, Methodist, whatever church, and she says, "I want my family on this side. We're not going to cause any problems, and his family on the other side." What do you do? Who do you listen to? She is the payee. Let's talk about
let me say this about the beneficiaries. It
That's
goes
that's
back
a
to the
good
last
point,
show.
Wendell. Is she saying something?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charmaine. All right, go ahead, Charmaine.
I said, let me say this about a beneficiary. Be careful with your beneficiaries because they can walk away. Wife or no wife. They can walk away. I've had a situation where a grandmother
You a stupid
was
woman.
had was beneficiary. Well, the grandmother had policies on everybody. And when the grandmother died, there was the oldest grandchild that was the most responsible out of the entire family. She came in and she said, I understand my cousin has children. I'm only allowing them to spend 10,000 completely. So they got to budget that 10,000 between you and the cemetery. I told her the cemetery don't go on my bill. She said, well, if she spend it all with you, then y'all need to figure out how to cremate her. So you have to be careful on your beneficiaries. Just because they're a side piece or not does not mean they're entitled as a beneficiary to pay that bill. They can walk away. So you have to humble yourself sometimes when you realize that your name isn't on anything.
Right. Yeah, and so I had a situation like that maybe about a month ago. And it wasn't even about a side piece situation. It was just the whole fact that the mom was incarcerated and the grandmother had the policy. And so the mom who's incarcerated wanted to make all these different changes, wanted to add all these different things. And Granny stepped in and say, look, y'all got $15,000. If you can't make it work for $15,000, I don't know what to tell you. Mom calls back to the funeral home. This is XYZ. This is what I want. That's my baby. Da 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 da. Granny was at the funeral home in the arrangement office, got up and said, "That's my grandson. He knew I loved him," and was gone.
That's real talk right there. It happens.
I had a situation just like that recently too. And it almost got really ugly because the granddaughter was the beneficiary of the policy and we all knew it. But her daughter was one who wanted to start calling shots on how we were going to run this funeral and where we were going to have the service, and that it wasn't going to be where the granddaughter intended to afford to be. So then it became, well, you understand that you can certainly change it because you're the daughter, but your niece is not entitled or doesn't have to pay for that funeral. After she was adamant about, no, yes, she does. My mother had this policy. Well, your mother had the policy and left your granddaughter beneficiary because she was the responsible one, I'm guessing. And now the daughter had to eat a little piece of humble pie because she didn't have the funds to come up with paying for everything.
But most of the time, the person that has the money can work it out with the person that's supposedly in charge. This is rare. We give you worst case scenarios, but it does happen. So we want you all to be aware and just make sure that you get your stuff in order so we can do that.
Can I say this real quick?
Yeah, right.
In the event that you possibly don't know who your father is, before your mother goes to glory, make sure you get a list of all of her side pieces. Make sure that she can get.
It's a flag on the play. There is a flag on the play.
Listen, you need to make sure that you got a death certificate for all those people, because one of them is your father, and you need to make sure that you don't have no policy or unclaimed property out there. You could be the heir or something. Because let's be real, some of your mamas is community property.
Damn it, Jim.
We're going to go ahead and go to Mr. Wood. What's up, Fred? Harry Wood. Wow. Said, great show. Keep up the awesome work. Shout out to my baby, Tiffanie. No, we're not going there. We're not going there.
What was that Tyler Perry movie where the dad died?
You got to read the comment. Look, Mr. Wood's on here. Harry Wood. My frat brother up in Philadelphia. Great show.
Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much, man.
They got shout out to her baby, Tiffany.
Big Smooth said that was a personal foul right there.
DJ D Smooth,
So listen, y'all remember that Tyler Perry movie?
Yes.
And the dad died.
Yes.
And so they was breaking the women down. And she said, "Well, who was Keisha? Bottom hole. Who was Label. Who was well, who was Mama?
Dirty hole.
Okay, there's a first flag on the play.
Let us pray.
Hey, D, can you please give us a word of prayer? That is just. Who has the oil? Somebody need to anoint both of them.
Oh my God.
Here you go.
Somebody got to anoint both of them.
Here you go.
No, seriously.
That's all I got.
Seriously, like
That's all we got to say right there.
They left the outside daughter. He left the outside door of the house.
All right, Charmaine, what you got, honey?
I said in the movie, they left the outside daughter the house. So come on, like.
Yeah, the outside daughter got the house, exactly.
A lot of this stuff we're joking about.
For years. No, I told my father for years. Let me tell y'all this, and transparently. I told my father for years, please let us know who all your children are. Because if they show up after you gone, I'm sorry. That's not it. It's their words against the dead Negroes. I'm just saying. They ain't coming up now. We're going to, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, everybody is not in a position to accept your side family.
How many flags can you throw in one play?
You know what?
We got David Halsey. Families need to hear this.
Yeah. No, seriously. You know what?
You need to let somebody know to give you Boy Scout and Girl Scouts honor that you will keep it until they go to their grave. My father
Yes.
will tell you, we have an older brother, and he thought that was going to his grave until, and my father talks about it. He has an older son, and he thought that was going to go to his grave until his son had an aunt that could not stand my father. Then when we started growing in our business, that heifer rose, not his mama and not his stepdaddy that raised him, but the aunt rose up and said, look here, your daddy is the man that's building all them funeral homes.
Charmaine, that's
Yeah.
your aunt. That's your aunt.
No,
Ain't
no, it ain't my aunt. That's Marcus' aunt. It ain't my aunt. That's Marcus' aunt. That's Marcus' aunt.
Hey,
I was thinking the same thing.
like,
Like, that's your
hey.
aunt. You know
My
they can
aunt
watch
talks
this.
about it.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
look,
why
look
we
at the
bring
bottom of the
family.
screen, please. Disclaimers right here. Please look at that.
But you know what?
Right.
Let me
But my father
piggyback
talks
off
about it
Charmaine.
because this is how stuff come up with people in business. You
Yeah.
have multiple businesses. You have oops babies. You have uh-oh babies. And you have what the hell babies. So them babies surface when you die. And then the ones that you're leaving behind are the ones that have to deal with this stuff. Put their name down on a sealed document until you have to read it at the time of death.
Yeah, let me pick it back off sis real quick, and I'll make it quick because just transparency, and y'all know that's one thing about Till Death Do Us Part podcast. We are transparent. We bring you into our lives. We keep it real. We keep it open, and that's just what it is. So, like my father, it's 8 of us total. One of my brothers is deceased. However, me and one of my sisters, I knew about her, but I had never met her. And one day we was just out somewhere, and somebody was like, "Man, your sister got a daycare over in such and such." I literally end up meeting her mom first. You know what I mean? And we was cool and all that. It kind of didn't come out too well because she was still kind of mad about some things. But after a while, we got together. I mean, me and my sister now have one of the greatest and the best bonds. You know what I mean? And so that was the crazy part because it was like my oldest two brothers, who were actually by my dad's wife. My oldest brother, he loves all of us unconditionally and loves on all of us. My eldest brother, he can't stand none of us. Won't talk to us. If we was in the same room and I caught on fire, he probably wouldn't even spit on me. And it's nothing that we did. He's just still holding the anger, you know what I mean, and the rebellion from just, what dad did a long time ago. You understand what I'm saying? And so, yeah, if you know that your parents, dad, dad, of course, it would be, got outside kids, try to figure some stuff out. Try to get to know where they at,
know
know
who
who
they
they
are.
are, because like Charmaine said, when it comes to the fan and that money get in the air, they gonna pop out.
It's called a round table discussion. We gotta have.
It's called a come to Jesus meeting. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So we got about 7 minutes left. We're gonna do some final words. We're gonna wrap it up. Again, thank you all for tuning in to Till Death Do Us Part podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our Facebook, Instagram, all the social media. Tell your friends about it. They don't want to miss the next week's episode. I'm gonna give you that title in just a minute. But final thoughts. We're gonna go around the horn and then we're gonna wrap it up. Princess, you're up at the top middle. Look what you got right now.
Why I gotta go first? Well, anyway.
Because you're in that good old middle.
I am in the middle. No, so for real. If you wife, side chick, husband, side dude, whatever you want to be, have your stuff right. Don't leave everybody hanging. Don't make people think that, you had your halo around your head the whole life, and then at the end now it's chaos and confusion because you find out that you weren't the innocent party that you thought you were, or the other person doesn't think that. It just causes a lot of chaos and confusion. So to minimize that, get your in order, however you want to do it, and just make sure that it's right, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Thank you, Princess. Get your in order. You heard it here. All right, who's gonna take the next one? We're gonna Warren. You're gonna be last. We're gonna say Warren last. Wendal, go ahead, Wendal.
From the professional aspect of it, just share the information. If you are in a situation where there are multiple people who have to make decisions, and they may not be a direct relative, it may be a side piece or another piece or your piece or whatever, just be respectful to the funeral director or whoever you're working with, so they will know the whole scope of what's going on. Share the information. Say there is a person who may be the next of kin that's not me, that lives in Nevada, that lives wherever, and we can't find them. Share that information. Just don't say I am the next of kin and you know you're not, because it just creates problems for everything that has to happen. So just be truthful to the funeral professional that you're working with and share the information. Nobody's discrediting a side piece, but we're just trying to say, let us know what's up from the front. Don't tell us. And my grandma used to say, I'm going to tell you up front so you won't stick out behind.
Yeah, listen to grandma now. That's grandma. All right, who's next? Adrian?
Well, so again, y'all listen. Shout out to my bro Jason Wallace down in Dallas, Texas. DJ D Smooth, we appreciate you, man. Once again, y'all, side piece, male or female, listen, get them divorces, get them signed, get them filed. You make sure, do your due diligence to make sure that, listen, you sweep your own rug before you try to sweep somebody else's. And if you are a side piece, however the title may lie, listen, get your paperwork in order. Make sure that you are the beneficiary. Make sure that you are on the right of disposition. So therefore, when your spouse leaves this world, you don't have to worry about nothing in dealing with the family. So again, y'all, we appreciate you. Thank y'all so much. We pass this thing on to my brother Warren, the baby, because he gonna talk.
No, we're gonna say Warren for last. Warren going last, just in case we had cut him off. We're going to the mother.
Everybody get the flag.
Get the flags ready. All right, mother, what you got?
Can y'all hear me? Great. Can you hear me? Just like the Verizon, can you hear me now? Look, get it together. We're not discrediting anybody at all. Even if you have to leave the pastor or the Muslim guy, if you have to leave the school, the beneficiary, leave someone that will handle your business properly, because sometimes the side piece may not be the right person to do so. Your children may not be the right person to do so. Develop a relationship with the funeral home and go pay your stuff in advance, and that way it's already paid for, and then you don't have to worry about how to split your for other people to fight over. That's my 2 cents.
Hey, Charmaine, I got a question, Charmaine. Are you on the way to Eastern Star meeting or something?
I said I got stuck in the Bible. I just came out the Eastern Star.
Oh, okay, all right.
Go ahead, Deacon.
Where the stars shine bright.
Thank you, Charmaine. All right, we got one more. Get your flags ready. All right, Warren, what you got? Then we're gonna wrap it up.
Y'all give me such a hard time. Listen, what I'm gonna say is this. We joke a lot on this show. We tell a lot of jokes. Some of it's real, some of it may be exaggerated, but it's all for your benefit. And all of it is real life situations. Everything that has been said on this here podcast has been a real life situation. Some of y'all paying tithes in churches right now, and it's going to somebody's grocery bill.
There is a flag on the play. There's a flag on the play. We got 2 minutes. Look, we're going to wrap this thing up.
I'm just saying this. Make sure you get your stuff in order. That's all I got to say. If you got it in order, you won't have to get it in order.
If you man, anyway, look, we got about another 60. We got about 120 seconds left. We got 60 seconds. But I want to thank y'all for watching. My last comments is make sure you have your beneficiary, somebody as you trust. As been stated, if it's your funeral home, if it's your baby mama, your side piece, your side dude, whatever, just make sure you get that stuff in order. And the last thing that I wanted to share with people is that obituaries matter. Okay? Obituaries matter. We didn't even get into it. That'll be down the road, but make sure you put who is legally in the obituary, because we've had situations where the court has taken an obituary offline or a program and they've awarded property, homes, money.
Oh, honey, they leave people out of obituaries here. I had a man, they said we leave all his children. They don't list the children individually.
All right, look, that's all. We're here live at the IP.
What you got for next week?
So next week. So the title for next week is drum roll, please. Will the military or Social Security bury my daddy or my mama? Well, the military, also Social Security, buried my daddy and my mama. Y'all better tune in next week. Same place, same time.
Y'all gotta be trying to get them free burials. Listen, y'all, we love y'all.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, we're live at the IP Hotel. Charmaine's back in Maryland going to Eastern Coast. We appreciate y'all.
Y'all hit us on YouTube. On YouTube. Till Death Water 6.
Peace.
You up to that?
We made it out the chat.
Not the chat.